Welcome to classes by Inspire Physics. Today we will see one application of Gauss's law. So in the last class we have seen Gauss's law. According to Gauss's law, the total electric flux leaving a closed surface is 1 by epsilon 0 times the net charge enclosed by the surface. Okay. Now this Gauss's law we are going to use for deriving a few relations. So that's the first application. It's a line charge. So we have a line charge. We need to find the net intensity due to a line charge. See, we have an infinitely long line charge, means electric charges are arranged in the form of a straight line. It's infinitely long. Okay, it's an infinitely long line charge having positive charges. See, due to symmetry, the line charge is producing electric field perpendicular to the length. See, this is infinitely long. We don't know the length, but we know how many charges are there per length. See, let lambda be the total charge per length. This is called a linear charge density. Linear charge density. Lambda is what is linear charge density? It is the charge per length that it is known for us. That is the value lambda. We don't know the total charge, but we know charge per length. So due to symmetry, we can show that this line charge produces electric field in a direction perpendicular to the line, like this. Throughout in 360 degree, we can see that there will be electric field in this direction. This is a shape of electric field line due to the arrangement called line charge. Okay, so my aim is to find the electric field at a point P here, and to find the electric field at this point. This is the point P. What we need to apply Gauss's law, we need a closed surface. That closed surface is called Gaussian surface. We need to consider a symmetrical Gaussian surface. For a line charge, the symmetrical Gaussian surface will be a cylinder. Okay, so let us choose this distance as r. See, I need to find the electric field at a point P at a distance r from the line charge. Say I am going to consider a cylinder like this. Say I consider a cylinder where the line charge is the axis of the cylinder. See, this is a cylinder. Okay, I have considered a cylinder. What is the radius of the cylinder? Small r is the radius of cylinder. This is our point P. Okay, let us consider h as height of the cylinder. H is the height of the cylinder. It encloses a few charges only. See, there are many other charges outside. It is infinitely long. We can show like this. It encloses a few charges. This is the point P. Here we consider a small area on the surface. This is a Gaussian cylinder. On the curved surface of the Gaussian cylinder, I just consider a small area. Okay, I can consider areas here also. On the flat face, I consider an area, a small area. Here also I consider a small area. See, in these two flat faces, area vector is perpendicular to the area. Here also we have area vector perpendicular to the area in this direction. So I can say this is a dA, vector dA. This is also vector dA. But we know that electric field here is this direction, directional electric field. Here also the directional electric field is this electric field direction due to the line charge. Okay, so what is the angle between them? Angle between area vector and electric field direction at these two faces, flat faces, is 90 degree. See, how will you find flux? See, we have the equation of small flux at d phi is equal to E dot dA. E dot dA, that's equal to E into dA into cos theta. Theta is angle between electric field, direction of electric field and direction of area vector. But here we have 90 degree. See, you can see this 90 degree. Here also 90 degree. Angle between area vector and electric field. So 90 degree cos 90 will be 0. See, I can say the flux through, say I'll write like this, the flux through the flat faces of cylinder. There are two flat faces. The flat faces of cylinder is 0. Why it is 0? Because angle between the electric field and the area vector is 90 degree at the flat faces. That's why the electric flux is 0. Now we consider the small area here on the curved face. For the area, this is the area vector. I can mark dA vector. Electric field also in the same direction. This is electric field. See, for the curved face, what I can say, the small flux through d phi is equal to, through the curved face equal to E into dA into cos theta is the equation. What is theta? Theta is equal, for curved face, theta is equal to 0 degree. Okay, so I dA cos 0. What will be the value? It is E into dA. Cos 0 is equal to 1. Cos 90 is 0. That's why flux was 0. Now cos 0 is equal to 1. This is the small flux. So through the curved face, I have just considered a small area on the curved face. And through this area, the flux is having a value E into dA. Then I need to find the total flux through the entire curved surface. So total flux phi is equal to, what I will do, I will integrate this. Okay, to get phi, and integrate E into dA. Okay. Now according to Gauss's law, this will be equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times net charge enclosed. See, how much flux is enclosed by the cylinder? H is the height of the cylinder. So we need to find the charge only within the cylinder from here to here. From here to here we have a height h. In a length h, how many charges will be there? See, charge per length is lambda. In a height h, in a length h, how many charges? It will be lambda into h. Because what is lambda? Lambda is a charge per length. We need to find a charge in a length h. We need not consider these charges because they are outside the Gaussian cylinder. We need to consider only these charges. So lambda into h. Now electric field at each and every point on the cylinder, because it is equidistant, it will be same. Okay. Here it is electric field. Here is electric field at each and every point. Since equidistant, at these points, every point on the surface of the Gaussian cylinder, curved surface, flux electric field will have constant value. Just take it outside. See, we take E outside. So we have closed integral, closed surface integral. E we take outside. Then surface integral dA is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times lambda into h. Now we need to find E. What is integral dA? Integral dA means we need to add such areas on the curved face, on the curved surface. So that will be equal to the curved surface area. If R is a radius, what is the curved surface area? It is equal to 2 pi R into h. So I'll write that curved surface area of cylinder. Okay, what is the value? It is 2 pi R into h. Okay, so integral dA is equal to 2 pi R into h. So I write E into 2 pi R h is equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times lambda into h. H cancels. Now what is E? E is equal to, we have lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 R. Okay, so vector E in this direction, in the direction of electric field, see this is a direction of electric field. In this direction I can consider a unit vector, vector r cap. So how can I write in vector form? Vector E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 R into r cap. This is the vector form of electric field due to a line charge. Okay, so what is r cap? R cap is a unit vector in the direction of the electric field. So we have got equation of electric field due to a line charge. Now how can we show graphically the variation of electric field with a distance? See, if this is the distance r, this is the electric field. We can show here all these are constants. Okay, so we can say E proportional to 1 by R. And this will be the shape of graph for E proportional to 1 by R. When R increases, okay, R increases E, R increases, then what happens? The value of E decreases. E and R are directly proportional. When R decreases, E having large value. When R increases, the value of E going on decreasing. Okay, that's a graph connecting electric field and distance for a line charge. Okay, so that's our application of Gauss's law for a line charge. Okay, I hope that you have understood. Thank you.